Greetings in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, Melech of Yasharal, Kahan forever, according to the order of Melchizedek.
Sweep
All
gold
esteem,
buyers.
honor, and glory unto
Sweep
our
ES
Lord
buyers.
Yahuwah. This is MELEK SHALAMAH Trading, and I'm going to do a quick trade recap I did on ES futures on the new contract. I believe it's the ESU5, right? So I'm not going to do the risk disclosure, but just be advised, trading is risky. Be careful. Use proper trade management. Don't follow what I'm doing. Create your own strategy, right? So let's see. We opened here. We opened here in the RTH at 9:30. Had the big buying pushing up, right? So we pushed up the Camaria R4. That's weekly value area high as well. And I'll open that soon so we can see what that is. And that's yesterday's high. Right, cool. Right, so we pushed above these levels. We have a bunch of absorption sellers going off, absorption buyers. So all kind of stuff is happening here, high volume, and that's typical for the open, right? So we're pushing up here. We get to this level here, which is the preliminary supply, right? So I'm going to open this now so you can see exactly what's going on at the time. All right, and this is going to be a breakdown of the Black Sun strategy, right? So basically it's a Wyckoff distribution structure, and I use certain criterias to get me in these trades, right? So basically what we have here, right? So these are the upper deviations. This is second upper deviation.
Sweep ES buyer.
Right, so this is first upper deviation, right? Let me use the arrows. First upper deviation, second upper deviation, 2.5, third upper deviation, right? So I use that volume weighted average price upper deviations to kind of gauge whether price is in a oversold region where buyers could start to look to take profit, right? Because we moved away from VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price, and we have better prices for the buyers to sell up here, right? So my distribution pattern is supposed to happen in these upper deviations. So we have the preliminary supply being created here at approximately 6105.50, right? We have the initial little pullback. We push up again, fall in volume here. Well, I'll open that up and you'll see the volume was fallen basically right here, right? So we had the heavy volume pushing in up to the buying climax, which was created at 6109, right? Buying climax. And let me just put this into perspective where you see. And before I get to that, let me just point out as well, part of the criteria is that we have absorption happening on the passive liquidity as price ascends, right? So that's all the liquidity there is getting hit. This one actually pulled, but this one executed, right? So we have absorption from the offer as price is making its ascent up, right? So it's running into liquidity on the offer. So with that happening, we get our preliminary supply, initial little pullback, a little back and forth here. We break out of that. We create the buying climax. We hit liquidity. We get buying sweeps. We get fall in volume, right? So you see high volume pushing up, fall in volume, a little more right there, but basically fall in volume, right? So all this pressure here going up. We get buy sweeps going off. We get buy stops as well, but actually closed this chart and reopened it, so all of that disappears with the buy stops and icebergs, I think, right? So can't see really the iceberg sellers, but there's iceberg sellers here and buy stops going off, right? So buy sweeps indicative of a reversal. So we have the creation there of our buying climax, and now we get the creation on the pullback, the initial pullback of the automatic reaction, right? So automatic reaction somewhere around 6102.25 or 6102. We have a little push up, pullback, break the automatic reaction. So all of this could be the automatic reaction, but I just labeled this here sign of weakness because it's breaking the bottom of the range, right? So after the buying climax, automatic reaction is supposed to be the bottom of the range. It's breaking the bottom of the range, creating the sign of weakness. We push back up here for the secondary test, right? This could also push back up here and push above the buying climax, which would be a uptrust, labeled uptrust, right? But it didn't do that, so that's a secondary test. It failed to break the buying climax, so secondary test here at approximately 6107.75. Buying stops, absorption, liquidity still on the offer, right? Little liquidities here being tagged as we push back up. So basically buying exhaustion happening here on high volume, right? Buy sweeps indicating a reversal back down here. This is VPOC. VPOC migrates up into the distribution, showing this is a high volume area now. And we get a consolidation around VPOC. More buying sweeps. Not really, volume is falling off, but we're getting buying sweeps. Right, we get an absorption 127, buying sweeps going up there. We have some liquidity on the offer, pressing down on price again. Push back down below VPOC, another test. Liquidity still on the offer, not moving. Buying exhaustion, push down. We have buying absorption here, right? They get run over. We have buying sweeps. So let's move across. Right, so the distribution is taking place. We're getting this back and forth, right? So after the secondary test, consolidation around VPOC, we get the breakdown, right? This right here is first upper deviation. We get the breakdown. You see it was riding right on first upper deviation right there, going across. Let me use the arrows. First upper deviation. Price is testing that level. VPOC is right there. So we have this consolidation right there, right? Now price breaks. We get buying absorption. Heavy volume, no follow through, consolidate, buying sweeps. Buyers take it back up. But looking like selling delta, right? So basically moving up on selling pressure, selling aggression, right? So basically the sellers are pressing down on price right now. Big selling bubble, 258 contracts, 57 buy sweeps, liquidity on the offer, rotates around VPOC again, and first upper deviation. We get the exhaustion, we push back down, right? So some of these trades, I could have taken these here because this could be like a LPSY, right? But I missed out on some of these trades. I was kind of just sitting back because the price action was kind of aggressively was buying aggression early in the session, right? So I just kind of waited for basically like a better opportunity, right? Or where I thought it would be a little safer to execute a short trade, which I should have probably done up here, right? To be honest, this right here and this right here should have been my LPSY entries to the downside, right? This one would have been nice from like 6104 to 6097. Anyway, so this price action here, right? I thought this was going to be a LPSY, not get up to the first upper deviation. Buying sweeps, bunch of buying sweeps, heavy volume. I jumped in here on the initial pullback. Let me see. Let me open this up a little bit. Right, so my entry was here, right? I got stopped out a couple of times. My entries wasn't that good. I was shorting at the bottom here. So instead of shorting here, I was catching this, right? So a bunch of entries around this level, right? So in this little chop here, I got chopped up. We basically ran one of my stops here. I think I entered short somewhere around here. can't remember exactly where because the arrows are gone now. And I stopped out right here. Immediately as I stopped out, I shorted again because we hit first upper deviation. That's my LPSY. Short entry was at 61.0125, which would be here, right? So it was at the sign of weakness, right? So took this entry here, went short. We had heavy selling into VWAP, and we basically bounced right back above VWAP right here. So I didn't catch all of this as price broke down to 60.9225 roughly, but as it pushed back up, I thought it was gonna stay below because we had like a little pushback up here, and I believe I stopped out here. When it rotated and came back above, that's when I stopped out. So my stop out was at 60.95, right? So I was trailing my stop. I think I trailed my stop to around, yeah, this level above here, just above VWAP, because I thought like if it comes above VWAP again, I'm gonna just exit the trade. So exited the trade at 60.95, right? So yeah, that was the trade right there. Just a quick recap. That's my Black Sun strategy. Let's see what price action did after that. Did we continue distributing or what did we do? Right, so the distribution continued around Camarilla R4, and I forgot to say that as well. My trade entry is basically, well, it's not at Camarilla R4, it's a little above, but the distribution pattern is happening. Let's see, let's just close this up. These are my pivot levels, right? So weekly Camarilla R4, weekly value area high, yesterday's high, Camarilla R4. So we're distributing above those levels. As we break down, we're creating LPSYs, running into VWAP, and if I wanted to trade some more, I could probably trade some of these here. Retest of first upper deviation as a LPSY again, and basically a retest of Camarilla R4, value area high. We're losing weekly value area high, and we're pushing back into value, right? So yeah, that's basically the trade right there. Wasn't a great trade, wasn't a big P&L day because I had to recoup some of the losses I took because I took 3 trades short, and then one was the winner. So came out on top here, small green day. All right, y'all. So it's MELEK SHALAMAH Trading. Y'all trade safe and stay blessed. Sorry. Shalom.